Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi.
Morning.
What are we doing this morning?
Oh,
Yeah.
good. Got coffee.
I got
It's gonna
coffee.
be a good day.
I got coffee too. Can you believe the weather? First, it's really nice, and now it's
Gosh,
windy. Windy as all get out. And I know to pray for the people that are having fires in East Texas. And wow,
it is wild. No wonder none of us can breathe and we're congested. Our weather just doesn't do us any favors.
no, but we love West Texas and our hospitality.
Mm, yes.
You know, for sure, for sure. Gosh, I can't wait to hear from you, Shameen, just knowing that the interest rates, but I understand in 30 years, there's been a national average of 6% interest. And y'all jump in at any point. At a 6% interest rate. Right now, we're at about a 4.5, going to be 5. So now is really the time to don't freak out. Go ahead and do what you want to do. Agreed, Shameen, or where am I at on that?
Agreed. Yeah. I think the interest rates where they are now, it seems to be super scary just because of what rates look like in 2020 and 2021. But these interest rates are closer to what, might have looked like in 2018, 2019. So nothing to fear. Just
Good to hear from our lenders. It just kind of really kind of comforts everybody, you'd say,
Mhm.
knowing what they're doing. Because I've got one that's got cold feet that doesn't want to purchase a home because she's scared about the interest rate. But I think it's more.
right,
Agreed. As there's
right.
something else that might be holding back for whatever reason. So, we're going to give it a minute for a few people to jump on. I know when Chris and I had our Zoom, there was somebody that hacked us. So I've been a little careful of how we approach this and invite people. I did more by the cell phone because I feel like it's a little bit safe. And then just kind of invited different people wondering what title insurance is and title policies. And Bailey's going to go over that with BBA title. And Bailey, how long have you been doing title work? And tell me a little bit about you.
Yeah, so I've been doing this for about 9 years now. I started basically as a glorified notary, and really kind of worked my way up from there. I've opened two title companies now and have really just, I guess my favorite part is the relationships that you build through this industry. You guys know too, you meet all kinds of people from all walks of life, and that's my favorite part. But yeah, just kind of the nurturing side of things is really what I enjoy about this business, and it's never the same. But been doing it 9 years now, and really have gone through all the changes and growth, and there's always something to learn. Laws are changing, and so it's kept me on my toes, and I've really enjoyed it throughout the years. But yep, started as basically a notary and with a new home builder, and went to a national title company and was an assistant, and just kind of worked my way up from there.
When I first started in real estate, a seasoned, very seasoned agent, Tom Sorrells, he told me, he said, there's so much to learn about this business. And I thought, okay, I've done 3 businesses before, but he's right. It's ever changing. So when somebody says, well, last time when I closed on my house, or last time when I got my loan, or they didn't call that last time I had a inspection, we're like, it changes. It
Mhm.
changes in this industry, and you just got to hold on for the ride and do
Yes.
diligence and do your homework and find out, ask questions, which I'm the question queen. It's like it's all good. So I've got a few people that are texting me that they're saying they're trying to get on, but I really want this to be really productive, Bailey, and playing it even after and sharing it on our platforms is really key. So thank you for joining it all, everybody. Community Connect, we're going to be offering it a couple times a month. I keep my solid ground folks and keep them in the loop on everything on various subjects. What I want for this Community Connect is to have various subjects of home buying, maintenance, or home decorating. It's nice to be able to do this by our cell phones. It's nice for them to be able to go and look at Community Connect by the convenience of their own home. It's free. You know, the Zoom and getting the message out there in education, it's pretty much the new norm now. It pretty much is. If somebody's missing out on this, just place it. I can't very well place it on BBA title. I can't do it on Shameen, Southwest Bank, but I can sure just create a YouTube video and kind of get these messages out and say, hey, you know, when you're talking to a client, you know, if you want to know about title insurance, go to, you know, Community Connect when they Google that, or Yvonne Rose's Community Connect, and I'm explaining it to you there. So I'm going to have an interior decorator that's going to be and teach us how to decorate a shelf. She'll be next. Her name's Kathy Bell. And then I've got some people doing some paint and some windows and stuff like that, just to kind of keep it growing. So it's not like y'all have to do, you know, be on every time, but at least you know where to go for it. And then when you're talking to people, you can think about it. What do you think? Good? Okay. At the end of this particular Zoom, we're going to have 10 minutes for questions and answers. I just want to introduce myself. I'm Yvonne with eXp Realty. I'm a licensed realtor in the state of Texas. So I can do commercial. I can do small commercial. I don't want to be claimed that I'm the big commercial person because that entails a lot. I like to sell homes. I like to work with first-time home buyers. I can do land all over. You know, eXp is international. So the other day I got a call from a lady, Lorena, in Colorado, that her nephew or her cousin's moving here to Midland, Odessa. Guess what? We collaborated. We worked together. So anywho, we're real people and we want to have different ideas, and things are ever changing and suggestions in our personal life. I want to introduce my friend, Baylie. She's with BBA Title here in Odessa. So Baylie, what we got? We're going to talk about title insurance and why to have it. I think it's a racket, girl. Every transaction, help me.
I know title insurance is not super fun or attractive, but it's definitely necessary. And like you were saying, you know, we have clients, and with all of us that have questions that we don't always know the answer to. And I will never claim to be an expert and that I know all the answers, but I would love to be a resource for any of y'all. And if I don't know the answer, I can get it for you. So I think that's what's important in our industry, is to be connected and a team, and we're all wanting the same end goal. So if there is anything I can ever do in the future, please don't hesitate to reach out, whether BBA has the contract or not. I always want to be a resource for, you know, the people that we're in business with. So, but again, yes, my name is Baylie Heifner. I'm with BBA Title, been doing this for about 9 years now. And I'm going to go ahead and put my contact information in the little chat. So if there's any questions that come up later, please feel free to let me know. But what is title insurance and why do we need it? I know that you guys probably get asked that all the time, because I do as well. Like, why am I paying this? I don't feel like I would need it. And really, the best way that I try to explain it is it's insurance just like any other kind of insurance. You don't know you need it until you need it, and it's too late at that point. So title insurance protects you from problems with ownership. So that's what we do, is we do extensive research on the property to make sure that we are issuing a policy that conveys title and ownership in a clean and correct way, so that there aren't any issues for the lender or the homeowner. So that type of issue could be like fraudulent paperwork that was filed previously. Someone could have forged something. It could be an heir that comes up out of nowhere and says, no, this is my Aunt Belinda's house and she gave it to me. So this is kind of where we step in and we're like, no, we have you, we're your protection. That's where that kind of insurance comes in. So that's the best way that I try to explain it to people in a very simple way. it is important, and it's not required on cash transactions. And I don't know if people know that or not, but title insurance is not required on a cash deal. However, we do recommend that you have it because, again, you
Okay.
just never know. Lenders do require it just because it helps protect their portion as well, their lien. There's two types. So there's an owner's policy and a lender's policy. And with an owner's policy, what's different from any other type of insurance is you pay it one time and you're protected for the entire time that you own the property. And same with the loan policy, you pay it one time, you're protected until that lien is satisfied. So Texas is actually one of the most heavily regulated states when it comes to title insurance. Every single title company in Texas is regulated, and the state tells us what we can charge. So it's the same from title company to title company. The only thing that differences is the small like settlement fees and miscellaneous charges that different companies do charge, but the premium itself is the same through Texas. And if your sales price, so the owner's policy is based off of the sales price of the property, and the loan is of course based off of the loan. So anything that's less than 100,000, you can pretty much guesstimate it's about 1% is what the title policy is going to charge. Now, when you go over 100,000, there's a little bit of math that gets involved, but are some great resources. And I don't know if y'all know this either, but whenever you're doing like a net sheet for your clients, you can actually Google Texas Title Premium Calculator. And pretty much every single title company, every underwriter has a calculator where you can plug in the sales price and the estimated loan amount, and it breaks down exactly what the title premium will be. So that can help you in being able to estimate what your clients will be either making or bringing into closing. It kind of gives you an idea of what kind of charges you're looking at. And again, it doesn't matter what title company you're using, it's all regulated, and it's all going to be the same in regards to that title policy. Does anybody have any questions yet? I feel like I'm kind of going a little bit quickly through this.
No, it's good. I always wonder, do you ever know when it's going to go up? Have you seen it go up? I know it's regulated by, the state of Texas, probably insurance somehow, insurance exchange. But I think, man, I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, Baylie, that only an attorney can purchase it and a title, an abstract. Correct me on my thoughts there.
So that's a good question. And to answer the first part of it, yes, they do change, and they give us a heads up of when the rates are going to be changing.
Okay.
And that's why, having access to one of those premium calculators is a good resource to have for y'all, because you guys may not be in the know from underwriters or TDI whenever those rates are changing. So all you have to do is plug in, that sales price, loan amount, and it'll kind of break that down for you. Or you can sign up through TDI to get updates. And TDI is who regulates title companies. But to answer the second part of your question, a lot of title companies are owned by attorneys and ran by attorneys, but that's not always the case. So as long as you have an underwriter backing you, that is who is, insuring each transaction. It's a extremely in-depth vetted process. They want to make sure you have industry knowledge and familiar, but it doesn't always, an attorney is not always involved, but most do have an attorney on staff. And like I said, most are owned by attorneys just because it just makes sense that way.
Yeah, for sure. So Baylie, BBA title, it came out what, last year? It freshened out here in the Odessa area, and I'm most excited about it. I mean, because we do hear that the different title companies and The abstracts are backed up, not, they're backed up and we can't get our stuff to close. 30 days is what our ultimate goal is for all of our clients, for all of us as lenders, as, the inspectors, is getting the surveys done, that kind of thing for your home buying. But how can we expedite it and get it done faster? Is that why BBA Title decided to come into Odessa?
Yeah, and it's not that there was, there's great options in this area, and my biggest thing is we have a love for people and a love for customer service. And we do hear that, it's nice to have options. It's nice to have options. And so, when we came in, that was our main thing is, like I said, we're all regulated. We're all selling the same thing. We're all doing the exact same thing. But our main goal is to offer a level of customer service that, is braggable and people are proud to be a part of. And we have great people that are part of this team, and we have a great turnaround time. So yes, 30 days is always the goal, and we typically are able to meet that. But I will say, if you're a listing agent, I would reach out to your title company and go ahead and open title with your title company and say, hey, I have this listing. Can you please go ahead and get started on it? And I know for us, we hands down absolutely will, especially when there's going to be, say, airship issues or crazy liens. Anytime that there's been a death, anything like that, I highly recommend reaching out to your title company when you have the listing and go ahead and have them open title on it so that you have a head start. And sometimes before you even have a buyer under contract, title's cleared and you guys are ready to go. It makes you look like a rock star. It makes everybody's life easy. Selling and buying is stressful enough, even whenever everything goes so smoothly. So anytime there is a wrench, it just makes it feel like their whole world is collapsing. So anything that you as an agent or anybody involved in the process can work with your title company and kind of get that process started sooner, it just makes life so easy. And again, makes you look like you really have your stuff together, and it makes your client really, really happy with you. So that is what I would suggest. It's everybody uses, some people have in-house plants, and what that means is they actually get the records from the courthouse and they kind of input it into their own system. And some people use a third party. And so there's different roads to get to the end result. Not one way is better than the other. But again, if anytime you can start that process sooner than later, it helps and makes the process smoother for everybody.
Sweet. I didn't even think about that. I had
Yeah.
one of my high school friends reach out to me, and she said, Yvonne, my parents have passed away. We're looking for, all the legalities that we're in the midst of for an attorney taking care of everything. And could you help me with this particular home? I'm going to turn it over to you, Baylie. That'll be our next conversation, because if you can do the research on the title, it shows it's in one person's name, and the kids are reaching out because that's their, inheritance. So I want to be sure that they're taken care of properly and the kids get what they deserve,
Right.
and I just thought that was impressive. I'm going to also send them this Zoom, because it just kind of clarifies a few things for them. So they'll feel like they can call you and talk to you directly as well.
Yes, absolutely. And like I said, I may not have the answer right away, but I will definitely get it and take care of them. And, that's kind of always our main goal is, it's so stressful. And especially when there has been a death, and it's just not always a super fun process, and it can be very difficult. And so whenever you have a great team behind you, kind of holding your hand and guiding you through the process, it makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah, amen, sister, amen. What else? Give me some horror stories. People always like to hear the dirt. You don't have to say any names. You don't have to say any names, but we want to hear the dirt, the ground of what's happened in your.
Oh my gosh.
Just give me an
I
example.
This, I will never forget this. I was at a closing table and there's a certain document that gets signed and it speaks about, it kind of has different variations of your name. And, of course, we're joking and the husband looks over to his wife's paper to see, her aliases and she's, looking at his and well, she had a last name on hers that was not familiar. Well, he didn't know she'd been married before. And that was the most awkward closing. So I'm like, okay, I'll give you guys 1 minute. I'll be back. You take your time. So yeah, there's it always, and then whenever the husband doesn't remember their date they got married when they're filling out paperwork, I'm just like, oh, but
sometimes that minute becomes 5 minutes.
Oh my gosh. And I just want to crawl underneath the table and or run away. It is extremely awkward. Yeah, there's definitely horror stories or, you get to closing and you don't know that the spouse is, not an American citizen. And so, or the actual seller isn't. And so there's always, like I said, this job is so interesting and you meet all kinds of people in all walks of life and it just keeps you on your toes. And at the end of the day, every day when I go home, I don't listen to any music. I totally quiet in my car and I just kind of unwind just all the craziness that goes on through the day. Because I mean, although we want you to feel like you are our only client and only file that we're working on multiple. And so you think that something crazy is going on. Well, we're dealing with that with 15 files all day long. And so you're just like, at the end of the day, and then you start all over again the next day. But when it finally comes to fruition and you're at the closing table and it does fund and everybody gets their money, you just want to celebrate. And it's like, okay, all that hard work and heartache and stress was totally worth it. But yeah, we definitely have some interesting stories, I'm sure.
Cool. Ever, Baylie, this is on the spot question. Do you ever see that title insurance will go away?
What do you mean? Like it just not being needed?
Yeah, I've just heard, since I've started in real estate, which is, too terribly long, everybody's like, why do we have to have that? We don't want to have that. There's nothing wrong. We were the original owners from the house. What is, and I think, okay, will that ever go away where it becomes their liability?
I don't see that happening. I do see as we kind of move into a new era, I feel like, especially with COVID, a lot of companies realized, okay, we don't need brick and mortar anymore to be successful. A lot of people are working from home. So I could definitely see, e-notarization has become a thing. I could see the industry moving into more of that direction where it could potentially be where, title companies are not necessarily your traditional where you come to a office and close. I could possibly see it going that way, but title insurance, I don't ever see that going away. But like I said earlier, cash transactions, you don't have to have title insurance, although it is highly recommended. Banks are always going to want to protect their liability. So I don't ever see that going away. And with it just being Texas so heavily regulated, I really don't see title insurance ever going away. Now, their traditional in-house closing, I could see that changing. We saw it change over COVID. We're going to people's houses and meeting in a park. Yes, times are going to change, and that could grow into something else at some point. West Texas, though, we are so different, I feel like, than any other market. We're very very traditional is the word I like to use. It's, very relationship driven. We like to be in front of people and, give that handshake and have that relationship with who we're dealing with. I think that's just who we are as Texans. We're friendly and we like that kind of interaction. So I don't know if this area per se will ever fully be that way, but I know in bigger cities they are, you know, everybody works from home and they just send a notary to your house to sign you up. And so it could change, but I don't think title insurance is going where, and I pray it's not.
Yeah, right. Shameen, can you add that as a lender, what that means to you, when you're processing a loan?
Yes, so having a great title company is very important because we can't, number one, close without the title work, as
There
Baylie
you
said.
go.
So, we have to have clear title. We can't have a cloud on title. There are a million different scenarios that can come up from someone selling a home and not realizing they had mechanics lien on there that has to be cleared, or child support liens that have to be cleared, or stuff like that. That does come up quite often. Even when we're refinancing homes and we're trying to get that that refinance transaction from from the question comes up, why do I need title insurance there? Or if we're removing a spouse, or we're adding, a borrower, or, life events change and someone's been deceased and we have to do that. So it's still necessary, because at some point when you do not own the home anymore, you want to make sure that it's going to get transferred the right way. And I've seen the benefit of having title insurance. It is, everyone is looking to find the cheapest way to get into a home. And I think I could say, I don't think not having title insurance is part of that. So it's just one of those things that in the background, things that you don't think about also is like the legal description of your property, where your meets and bounds lies. Is this 2 feet of my land? Was it deeded over correctly? Was it not? So there's just different scenarios, like Baylie said, that comes up that you guys don't even know about or think about for the most part. We're just handling it in the background. And but again, it's not, you don't realize you need it till you need it. And then it's like, well, how come no one told me about this? So
Right. Good point.
I do feel like that's a Baylie, like you said, it's a very relevant point. Maybe going to closing and signing 100 pieces of paper at closing will probably go away eventually. But the need for the title insurance is still very necessary.
Awesome. Thank you, Shameen. Chris, Shameen, Jeff, put your information in the chat box. There's different agents on here that could really use your resources. Chris, anything different in the home inspection world? And then Shameen, you take it from there and talk to us about the interest rate. Go ahead, Chris.
There's nothing new and interesting right now.
No horror
the market
stories.
is really hot right now.
No mice in the ceiling or rats in the, nothing like that.
Oh, that's normal.
Oh yeah.
No, that's all normal.
And you have to get up in those little crawl spaces, man.
Yeah.
And climb on the roof.
It's a fun job. I love it.
You know what, Chris? Some of the people are just using drones up there. And
I don't trust a camera.
And why not? Just give me your scenario on that.
Because you can't get up close and see what you need to see. You can't feel it. You can't touch it. I'm a hands-on guy. I like to get up in there and see exactly what I want to see. It's like a lot of people are using the crawl bots to go in crawl spaces under houses. And I'm like, yeah, it's good, great and wonderful, but I still want to see it with my eyes, touch it, feel it. I like knowing what's going on.
Super. Thank you, Chris. Shameen,
anything
else? Anything else?
No, just I know that the interest rate conversation is hot and heavy right now, and there's a lot of commentary around it, and some people, it does tend to scare buyers off, or first-time buyers, just because of what you hear. But I always suggest have that conversation with your lender, talk it out. The interest rates are not probably as scary as you think, and while our world is changing, our economy is changing, we have to kind of just roll with those punches. And there still are ways to help, qualify you and get you into a home. Just because interest rates have creeped up doesn't mean that it's still not a great time to buy.
Baylie, anything you want to add?
I don't think so. Just again, if anybody ever has any questions, whether we have the contract or not, like I said, I want to be a resource for y'all. So if there's anything I can help with or help kind of work through a problem, please feel free to reach out.
I want these to be short and sweet. And I just want to thank y'all for watching. Like we said, our industry is ever changing, and help and share these links just to make it education. That's what it's all about, that people can have things to look at or get a second opinion. And here it is. So future is going to be colors of spring, windows replacement, fire extinguishers with the summer, with kids being at home, educating them how to use them. And then please feel free to comment, private message me, whatever. We wish you a happy, healthy, and safe home. Check out YouTube, Yvonne Rose's Community Connect, because that's what we're part of. Thanks, y'all. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.